Three men and a multiverse of sci-fi's finest spacecraft. But which ones can claim to be the greatest ships ever? Welcome to Space Doc Jury.
Welcome to Space Doc Jury episode 6. Yes, hello, and I'm Lee, and I'm bringing this week the NASA Explorer ship Hermes from the Martian.
I'm Peter, and I'm bringing the Discovery 1 from 2001, etc.
And I'm Andy, and I'm bringing the Icarus 2 from Sunshine.
Yes, and basically we're doing science spaceships, so we wanted to do scientifically accurate spaceships, but we needed someone else to step in for another ship.
We needed to find an expert, and unfortunately they were not forthcoming. But we did find a volunteer.
Yes, and volunteer, please introduce yourself and your ship.
Right, I'm Nick, and I fell into a cunningly placed trap for somebody to step forward to defend the Endurance from Interstellar.
Wah, 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 wah.
Now, on the plus side, you've only got to defend the ship, not the film. So floating libraries behind black holes, you don't have to go there. So,
although theme music has played a part, it has to be said.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I hope you can talk really loudly, because if Andy puts the music from Interstellar over the top of your voice,
which is going to happen,
yeah, then basically you'll just drown out, like pretty much like in the film.
But it's the authentic experience Christopher Nolan wanted for the film, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yes. So we're joined by Nick, who will be representing the Endurance from Interstellar.
He's representing the Endurance and also the fans. He's here representing, you know, he's speaking for all of you out there. Okay, so wish him luck. Yes.
Probably at some point he'll give us a piece of his mind from the other episodes, but there you go. So, before we get going, let's have a little recap on this week's on the top 10 as it stands right now. And over to you, Pete.
Right. Okay, well, this is what happens when you're not in the room, because now we have a top 19. It should be a top 18, but it's a top 19, because some idiots decided that they were going to throw the ship from Button Moon through the scoring system.
I think it's a testament to how well the scoring system holds up that we were able to accurately qualify the ship.
Yeah. So starting at number 19, right at the bottom where it definitely deserves to be, is Mr. Spoon's ship from Button Moon at 31. Then, getting to the proper ships, at 18 we have Thunderbird 3 at 32 points. 1 point ahead of it, number 17, is the Eagle Transporter, crashing at a TV set near you soon.
On fire still.
On number 16, Dwelling Under the Bus, is the Dreadful Draconia with its theme tune at 34. At number 15, we have the Phoenix, which scored a mighty 37 points. 14, the lovely Red Dwarf, big chunky in red, at 39 points. 13, the beautiful Milano on 41 points. It's from Guardians of the Galaxy. At 12, we have the weird eyeball Odyssey at 42 points. Nestling in next to it, also at 42 points, is the Divine X-Bomber. And then we're into the top 10, folks. So sadly, the X-Bomber got knocked out of the top 10.
Oh, Dacia Sandero had to go.
Oh, shame. Anyway, number 10, we have the Cygnus from the Black Hole at 43 points. Also at 43 points. Number 9, Slave 1. Oh, Boba Fett's little ship.
Bubba Hotep Fett.
Yes.
Hubba Bubba Fett.
Hubba Bubba Fett.
Hubba Bubba Fett.
And number 8 is the Turkey with 50 points, aka the White Star.
Oi.
Wait, you let me do the countdown. This is what happens. This is what you get. Anyway, number 7, we have the Omega Destroyer Agamemnon at 54 points. Number 6, the Strange Prawn from Mass Effect games, the Normandy 1, 57 points. Number 5, the Glorious Defiance at 60 points. At number 4, Vader's pointy ship of pointiness, the Executor, at 62. Now we're into the top 3, folks. Here we go. They're all big buggers. At number 3, we have the Battlestar Pegasus on 64 points. Number 2, the Cube of Borginess on 67 points. And our top number 1 entered the charts last time. We have the Vengeful Spirits, which is a mighty great big Warhammer 40k ship on 69.
69. So there you go. Thank you very much for that illuminating.
I need to point out though, if the Button Moon ship had scored just one more point, it would have beaten Thunderbird 3.
There's just all sorts of wrong going on there.
It's probably going to be gone by next time, folks. We promise you.
Yeah. By the way, for those of you who don't know what on earth we're talking about and where Button Moon ship suddenly came from, Andy and I appeared on the Shonky Lab, talking about spaceships over the Easter period, which is why poor old Pete couldn't join with us, unfortunately. And otherwise, he might have put a stop to this.
Yes.
And Elton thought he'd try our scoring system out by going for the Button Moon ship and trying it out. And unfortunately,
we said he could pick any ship he wanted, anything at all, from all of the multiverse, comics, books, TV, films, anything at all. And he went with the Button Moon ship.
Yeah, you allowed it.
I did allow it, yeah. But he made a convincing argument. He met the criteria, damn it.
And it scored. But anyway, so if you want to listen in on the Shonky Lab, then by all means do so. Go to shonkylab.co.uk or go onto iTunes and search for Shonky Lab and listen to the latest episode. And just hear the debacle for yourself. Anyway, so that's the scores with the Gloriana sitting up top there. And how you doing, Nick? You're still quiet, sir.
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Feeling confident with the endurance?
Well, I've put minutes of research into it, so...
Wow.
That's what we've ever done.
I have 10.
Excellent. Well, with everyone ready, let's not dally about. Let's get on with this. The person who lost last goes first, and also we're doing this in chronological order in the time of spaceships coming out. So, double whammy, it's you, Pete. You're up.
Woohoo! I get to go before I've drunk too much beer. There is hope for the Discovery 1.
Hey.
Okay. As featured in Arthur C. Clarke Boys novels and Stanley Kubrick's 2001 and 2010. Named after Captain Scott, him of the Antarctic, which is maybe not the smartest namesake ever. I'm just popping out of the airlock, Hal. I may be some time. In the book, she was built to travel only to Jupiter until the monolith was detected in the orbit of Saturn, but in the films, Jupiter is as far as she needs to go. And then that kind of is established continuity from then on inwards. She was intended to be as scientifically plausible as possible, and the only main departure from scientific necessity, apparently, was the lack of cooling wings, which would have been needed for the function of its nuclear-powered engines. Mm-hmm. Kubrick wanted to avoid any sense that she might be able to fly in an atmosphere which wings might have given it, so they decided not to give her wings. Possibly the scientific accuracy is also the reason why the engines are so far from the rest of the ship, presumably down to their nuclear nature. You don't want to be sleeping next to a nuclear reactor, really, do you? This is all very 1960s, isn't it, where Mr. Atom was going to solve all our problems. Imagine all the crew going around glowing in space, can't you?
You're playing Fallout 4. How did that work out for you?
What, sleeping away from the nuclear radiation?
No, the atom solving all of life's problems.
Oh, no, it's not worked out very well at all.
It's all gone wrong in the desert.
Yes, Mad Max, it is not.
It has an internal centrifugal section to provide artificial gravity in the crew area. Elsewhere, the crew used Velcro shoes. Oh, high tech. It doesn't mean you can't sneak around the ship very easy. The ship's computer, Hal, who's rather iconic in his own right, disposed of most of his crew, and the surviving crewman Bowman deactivated him and set off to become some sort of god baby. Baby!
Baby. Nice.
There's going to be a few callbacks to the Black Dog here, aren't there?
There are a few.
The Discovery is left floating in space until the sequel, when the crew of the Alexei Leonov came a-calling and ended up using her as a disposable booster rocket to get them the hell out of Jupiter's orbit before it became the Sun Mark II. We perhaps won't dwell on the scientific accuracy of that. So, are we ready to rate this baby? Baby?
Yeah, okay. Perfectly happy to go for that. I'm just getting my calculator up so I can make a complete hash of the maths, as per usual. Hold on 1 second. Right, go for it.
Okay, normally the easy one is size. There's a bit of discrepancy here between 2001 and 2010, but I'm going to go with the former, which is given in the book as 140.1 meters.
140.1.
Which ain't very big.
No, that's a 1, isn't it?
It is indeed.
I think that is a 1, yes.
Okay, We're off to a flying start.
Hey, you're on the board.
So then on to speed. In terms of sublight speed, the deep freeze necessity presumably means it crosses the solar system in years, I would have thought. So it'd be a 1 for that.
It takes a couple of months just to get to Jupiter, so yeah.
Nice. We're doing well.
Yeah. Fast and light. This is the science special, so no points for you. You come back a long time. 0.
Nice.
Maneuverability. We don't really see it move a lot, to be honest.
It's a brick.
It mostly just sits there, or in the case of 2010, spins there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't class as maneuverability, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 1 there as well, aren't we, really, folks?
Yeah. I mean, if you were going to count spinning as maneuverable, then I demand a recount for the Eagle transporter.
Yes. Not by design, eh? Not by design.
No.
Firepower. This is going to be a highly scored one, isn't it? 0, unless you count the grabby arms of murder on the wee pods. But
well, I don't think they quite qualify as armed support craft, do they?
Not really. Well, not really. No. Well, fairly deadly, but in a very limited sense.
Puntastic armed support craft.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. As long as you don't hear them coming, they could be very dangerous. But...
Oh well, I can see these all being really high scoring.
Yeah, we didn't really think this one through, did we?
No. Should have done these first.
It gets better. Active defense.
Go on.
0.
Oh wow. Cool. Yep.
Passive defense. Low armor.
Yeah.
No, it's tinfoil, mate.
Tinfoil, isn't it?
Still tinfoil, so that's 0 as well. Okay.
0. Oh god.
Special. Do we count the baby? Baby. No,
you could argue the homicidal computer, perhaps.
That's the sort of special you don't really want on board, do you? So
that's true,
a 0. And that's going to come up under crew, isn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah. I was going to say, if that's going to happen, then I demand that when we do the Nostromo, we count the alien on special.
Oh, I've just realised just how stupid it was, you people discussing Bottom Moon. Oh, man. Idiots. Crew numbers. So we had 2 actual crewmen plus a homicidal maniac computer. The rest were all scientists in deep freeze who never managed to survive the day anyway. So, well, that'll be a 1, won't it?
Yep.
I think even if you counted the ones asleep, you'd still be at a 1, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because it only goes up to 5, doesn't it? Yeah.
And, there we are. And then skill. Well, it didn't really go to plan, did it, Dave? Having a mentally unbalanced computer has got to impact on the score here slightly, hasn't it? So what do we reckon? 3? They got there.
They got there, and let's face it, they survived. And not only did he survive, he survived being locked out of the ship.
So he might score quite highly.
I think okay, so the 3 asleep, you can't really take anything away from them. It's not their fault. Frank, he was suspicious of Hal, but, he was doing the best thoughts he could do, and Hal just happened to kill him before he realised he was going to do it, basically. And I think you can argue a 5. I think the crew's very competent. It's just Hal is more...
Hal is rather a big factor, isn't he? Because he's running most of the ship's systems.
And he's not... Well, sounds silly to say, the age we live in, but he's not supposed to be able to do that stuff. So you're not expecting, if your desktop PC suddenly decides to kill you, that's going to come as a shock.
But it is mentioned in the film. By the reporter that he is the third member of the crew.
Yeah.
So Hal is actually a member of the crew, which has got an impact on the score, having a homicidal maniac on the crew.
So I reckon a 3 is about right.
I think a 3, but I could argue a 4 if I were you.
I'd give you a 4, but if you want the 3, I'm happy. I'll defer to your judgment, gentlemen. What do you reckon, Nick? You're quiet over there.
I was just wondering if Hal gets any special points because he can lip read, which kind of makes him, it scores accessibility points.
Oh,
he was very effective at killing people. You got to bear that in mind.
Okay, we could give him a point for it, for that. I think a special.
Yeah.
Especially,
should we give him 4?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 it sounds like then.
4 it is.
Cool. Nick's now our ruling jury if it all goes horribly wrong.
He's the one that stops the punch up.
Yeah, it's working out quite well. He's like an air freshener, just keeping the atmosphere light.
Now things start to improve now, folk.
Oh yeah.
Pleased to hear, because we've got realisation now, and this is a rather well realised model. Let's face it, damn fine model work. Oh. So I'm going for a 5 for the exterior.
Oh, you shall have your 5, sir.
Without argument, yes.
And the interior, it's all shiny white NASA stylings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The only downside is that as a result, it is slightly dull. But they basically know what they want to achieve, and they've achieved it really well. So I think a 5 is only fair.
Oh, mate, I'd be offended if you asked for anything less than a 5. I mean, they actually built the entire gyroscope for filming that thing. That's worth a 5 on its own.
But where is that gyroscope? Just out of interest.
What now?
No. I mean in the ship.
In terms of in the ship, it's supposed to be
in the circular
big
section,
cylindrical bit.
Yeah, but it's I believe it's going horizontally. So it's above the pod doors, but below the.
That makes more sense. Because I was going to say, because if it's going up and over, then it's kind of going through the middle of the cockpit and through the middle of the pod bay.
No, because you see them. They have to climb up the ladder to the middle of it, don't they? And then they have to. There's a lot of, like you said, the Velcro shoes, changing orientations and so forth.
Okay.
I watched it last night, and the only thing that concerned me about that was that the rotating section looks like it's too big to actually fit inside the globe at the front.
Here we go again.
It's a petty range, but
yeah,
it's a petty one. But I can't see Stanley Kubrick making that sort of an error. I just can't.
Because of the camera angles, I find it very hard to judge scale on that, I must admit, because it's a very strange camera setup in order to make the whole trick work, isn't it? So judging the size of that, I find quite difficult.
Yeah, there are blueprints of the Discovery floating about. I think if I did a little Google foo while you were all talking, I could probably find them. But I do recall the actual scale of the drum being only like about sort of like 30-40 meters across. Something.
It is deceptively small. Plus, when you see any pictures of it from outside, from when they're filming it, you've got all the mechanical gubbins and the frames, so it seems bigger
than it actually is.
It actually is, because again, you're only talking about the interior space, not all that stuff around it. I think you've got to have your 5, just because to my mind, it's still the best realised interior of a spaceship. It's exactly what it needs to be doing. I mean, okay, it's 1960s vision of the future, but it still stands up.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, on to science then.
On to science. Well, I guess if that joyless twant Neil deGrasse Tyson was here, he'd be deducting a point for the lack of the cooling wings, but to be honest, it doesn't bother me in the slightest, so I'm happy to go with a 5 for this one.
I think that goes without saying. I think, again, keeping powder dry, but I think even today it's still the most accurate portrayal of a spaceship ever.
I don't want to be the one pissing in the chips here, because it's gonna stitch both me and Andy up, and I think possibly the Endurance. But the thing I found out with, and I'm really should be keeping the powder dry for the Hermes, but the thing I discovered today was that the size and the speed at which the rotational hub thing goes round on the Hermes, which is bigger than the Discovery, isn't big enough to create an artificial gravity.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a 0.6. I think it's more meant to be like moon gravity.
Yeah. So
but I think in the film's defense, such as it is, there was no way to portray that at the time.
No, I mean, the Discovery would have to be like twice the size for it to work, basically.
Yeah.
So
now, I've actually found the equations for working the speed of rotation requirements out.
Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Bloody hell. It's all
I'm going
going
to
up
need more beer here, aren't I? Yeah.
However, they make no sense to me, but I shall post them in the...
Post them into the chat. Go for it. See if one of us can work it out.
So, yeah, but I'll come back to that when they talk about the endurance.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So what are we saying? We're still saying 5, even though.
Even with niggles, it is to date the most scientifically accurate ship we've had on here, bar none.
It's as good as it gets, isn't it? I mean, it's not perfect, but you know,
the only way to get perfect is going to be to build it in space.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, it's a wonder Kubrick didn't decide to do that, really, isn't it? Knowing his exact.
Well, if you subscribe to the conspiracy theories, he did.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah. On the moon.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's our score.
Well, no, we have the coolness then, of course.
Oh, coolness,
To polish
of course.
Cool. So with coolness, this is obviously going to work slightly differently in as much as we've got 4 bods here rather than 3. So this time round, the person who's introducing the ship is giving a score out of 3, and the other 3 are giving a score out of 2.
Okay.
It's really a good job I didn't have to explain that after a few more beers, isn't it? So
I'm so glad you went first.
So I've ummed and ahed about this quite a bit. I mean, I have a slight problem with scientific realism in ships, in as much as I like my science fiction to be more on the fiction side rather than the science side. But having said that, of all the ships that have, all the ships that have gone for scientific accuracy, I think this one probably has pulled it off the best for me. So I'm going to award it my full 3.
Okay. Andy?
Oh, I'm giving it all of my points. I love the Discovery one. It's one of my favourite spaceships.
Okay. Nick?
Again, I'd quite happily give it the 2. It sort of set the bar for real spaceships.
Cool. Okay, and you'll get no argument from me. I'm going to give it the full 2 that I got to give it.
Yes!
There you go.
Yes! Screw you, Mr. Spoon! Even better.
Fuck you, Thunderbird 3 then, I guess, isn't it?
It is rather, yes. And it's up there with the Eagle Transporter, apparently, as well.
Wow.
It crashed less often, so I think it should score more highly.
Right, Discovery 1. So there you go. Discovery 1 is in with a bullet at 18 with a score of 33. Okay, Discovery 1, 33. So, like I say, this is going to be a high-scoring round, this one.
The competition in this one is each time to try and beat the bloody button moon ship. If we can manage that, I feel like we've achieved something tonight. Seriously, I had to go and see with the school, or was it the Scouts? I can't remember which now, as a child. Button Moon Live. Can you imagine what that's like, watching a load of idiots with bloody strings making the puppets move?
Well, I think Elton referenced that as one of the reasons he loved it.
Yes, that probably is the every argument you need.
So are we saying we're never letting Elton on this cast?
I think we should, and give him a taste of his own medicine.
Okay.
Make him.
It sounds like gauntlets have been thrown down here.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yes.
I've got to think of a ship for him to defend.
I already know the perfect one for Mr. McManus.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Let's just say it stole the fire of the gods and leave it at that.
Oh, shut up, you. Right, okay. Don't bring it up. Don't make me watch that again.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
He does.
Oh, okay, fair enough, he does. Right.
There you go. That's the way it works.
Right.
Job hours.
So we now move on to the next ship, which I guess, Mr. Palastides, is yours.
Yes, I believe the next one would be the Icarus 2 from Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the year is 2050. The sun is dying and a solar winter has enveloped the Earth. Earth's last hope lies with the Icarus 1, a spacecraft with a multinational crew of 8 men and women led by Captain Pinbacker. Their mission, to deliver a nuclear device the size of Manhattan designed to reignite the fading sun. But they lose all contact with the Earth and the mission is presumed lost. So, the year is 2057 and the sun is dying and a solar winter has enveloped the Earth. Earth's last hope lies with the Icarus 2, a spaceship with a multinational crew of 8 men and women led by Captain Canada. Their mission to develop a nuclear device the size of Manhattan designed to reignite our fading sun. Yeah, this is the spaceship from Sunshine, and this is, you know what? I struggled to try and find information. I managed to find the basics for here, but when I did Sunshine on the Black Dog, I enjoyed the film as a film. It's great. But when you're just looking at the spaceship, there's a lot wrong with this. This has a veneer of scientific accuracy, a veneer of that looks plausible, and then you look at it for more than 30 seconds, and it's just oh god, this hurts. This hurts so much. So I say we just get on and throw this motherfucker under a bus.
Oh well, let's give it a go then. Let's see what you got then. So
now I'm struggling a little bit here because obviously size, for what it's worth, I've got to stick with what I've got. So I managed to work out the size using the internet and a couple of web forums and all this. It's about the ship itself, the Icarus 2, is about 7.8 kilometers long, but the bomb is about 9.9 kilometers in diameter. So either way, unfortunately, I'm stuck scoring about a 12.
Bloody hellfire! Is it really that big? I mean, I know the bomb is the size of Manhattan.
The bomb is the size of Manhattan, but if you look at
ship
pictures of the ship in comparison to the bomb, and it's not the size of Manhattan as in it's laid out, because if you did that, the ship would be about 20 kilometers long. It's just stupid. But if you take it as the area of Manhattan cubed, I looked into it. I can send you guys the link if you want, but unfortunately, it's about that. So I'm on a 12 for size, alas.
Bloody hellfire! Right.
Yes, a little bit. However, for speed, it takes 6 months to get to the sun, so it's crossing that solar system in years. That's a 1.
That's slower than Thunderbird 3. Woo!
It is slower than motherfucking Thunderbird 3.
Huh, there you go. Redemption.
No F about, so give that a 0.
Okie dokie.
And maneuverability, again, it does do a couple of pirouettes when it's trying to dock with the Icarus 1, but fuck that, it's a 1. It's a flying brick as far as I'm concerned, especially when it has that bloody bomb strapped to its front. So now we come to a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Firepower.
The bomb! The bomb!
It has a stellar bomb containing all of fully 1/2 of all fissionable material that was available on Earth, capable of jump-starting a star.
That's fairly heavy.
That's I don't know what to do here, damn it. Because again, I've read into this and the whole the very, very shaky science behind the bomb is it's meant to effectively jumpstart the sun, which was losing fission. Basically, it's meant you introduce it into a dying star, you give it a big old tug on the old pull cord, and the engine rolls back to life. So I suspect if you put it into a nice healthy star, you've injected a ton more material, that star's going to suddenly become a red giant and go poof.
Now,
so I think it's stuck at 15.
Yeah, I was looking at it, the highest firepower we can manage, because that is destroy a star in the solar system.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
my giddy aunt.
This has just made me think. It's a good job we're not assessing. Obviously, it doesn't count, but the Starbug from Red Dwarf, because they managed to jumpstart the second Big Bang, didn't they, off the batteries from Starbug? So that would be a 16.
Yeah, universal destruction. How's that working out for you? Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, good lord.
So yeah. Yeah, all right, fine. Well, that's stuck with 15, unfortunately.
Good.
Defense, 0s across the board. It's got nothing going for it.
Oh, but hold on. Whoops. No.
Whoops.
Hang on.
Don't you whoops me. No.
Hang on. hang on. Let's not forget the goddamn enormous fucking shield that's reflecting a sun.
It's reflecting a sun, but I mean that's effectively it's just a big mirror. I don't see any way you can count that as a defense.
Heavy armor
from the front. You kind of anything else. You sneeze at that in the wrong way and it falls apart, as evidenced by the film.
Yeah, I know. But the fact of the matter is that shield on the front not only puts up with the heat of the sun from a distance closer than Mercury. Let's not forget that.
Wait, we've entered bizarre world here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to throw this under the bus.
I know.
What are we talking then for passive? Well, this will be under passive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to be... you got to be looking at either a 3, a 2 or a 3. But the thing is, I was going to say possibly a 3 because that bomb with that shield has to go into the heart of the star and defend the bomb until it reaches its center.
Now, to be fair, that's the bomb component of the Icarus, not the rest of it.
But
which didn't do terribly good the second the bomb was gone.
No, but there is a shield underneath behind the bomb which was supposed to protect it. It was only incompetence of the crew.
Yes.
That causes
which
that
we'll come
drop.
to shortly. We'll come to that very shortly.
So I've got to say, I would be erring on the side of a 3.
What about the other two gentlemen? What are we saying here? I know Pete didn't watch it, but you remember it, can't you?
I've seen it.
I know you've seen it. I know you didn't want to rewatch it.
No, oh gosh, no. Gives me the heebie-jeebies, that film. Blah, blah, blah. I think I'd go with a 3. It's obviously very resilient. I mean, yes, you're right. Once the bomb's gone, then they're in trouble. But
all right,
Nick.
I'd probably err towards the 2, simply because it's just armor. It's not magic shields of any description. It's just a big shiny wok.
It raises an excellent point. It is a shiny wok.
A shiny wok. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We'll go for the 2, seeing as Andy was throwing it under the bus for a 0.
I was trying to throw it under the bus with a 0, but I there's nothing active on that motherfucker, so
No.
a 0 for that.
No, that's fine.
And there's nothing special. Crazy fucking captains don't count there, so that's a 0.
No, that's a 0, yeah.
Now for crew, again, we're stuck with just the numbers. It's an 8-man crew. 9 if you want to count stowaways, but it is what it is. So that's a 2.
That's 2.
Now for competence, as much as I want to just give them a 1, I feel Captain Canada alone kind of drags them up to the 2. He seemed to have his shit together. In fact, it was only when he left
it all went to
kind
piss.
of fell apart.
Yeah.
So
Navigator, whatever his name was, Benny.
Searle. Was it Searle?
No, Searle's the therapist who actually needs more therapy than anyone else.
Yeah, he's the homicidal thing with a sun fetish.
Yeah.
And you got Captain America and Chris Brown fucking going at it for non-stop. Yeah. But anyway, I'm thinking a 2 purely on Canada and the fact they've survived that long.
Yeah, 2's a good one. But then the only other thing I would say, just because I'm enjoying this kind of surreal bizarro thing, is you do have a particle physicist based on Dr. Brian Cox on board.
Dr. Brian Cox signed off a lot of the science in this film. If I was at CERN at the minute, I'd be checking his credentials. and need I remind you, his prior claim to fame was the keyboard player for D-Ream.
Yeah.
Things can indeed only get hotter.
So 2 it is.
I'm going for a 2.
Jolly good.
Cool.
Now, realization. Now, for exterior, I can't, in good conscience, really throw it under the bus there because the exterior, it does look gorgeous. I mean, it looks very cool when you got all the lights. That scene when it pulls up against the Icarus 1 and detaches and does its stuff. And just that big, shiny golden wok, as Nick has given us there, was very cool. So, for exterior, I'd be asking for 5.
And you shall have it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, for interior, I'm again, it's somewhat well designed. It's catwalks and gantries. The bridge looks like a upscaled spaceship, that sort of bridge. Computers everywhere. However, things like the whole artificial gravity have, they just magic that away. And other bit. I mean, you got airlocks which you can lock from one side, which just seem. Why would you have that? At all? It why? And also, how does that window they keep looking out of fit into the ship? I mean, you've got the Icarus with its smaller shield, and you have this massive fuck-off bomb the size of Manhattan on the front. Where does that window? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense at all.
So I'm kind of going for a 2 or a 3 for interior realization. Again, there's a veneer of that seems to make sense, and then all of a sudden no, it doesn't.
Yeah, the thing that always bugged me was the fact that they had an antenna that got burnt off.
Yeah,
and that burning off, and that now we know that this thing is like kilometers long.
Yeah,
but that antenna got burnt off. And then the burning off antenna managed to set light to the hydroponics, which were clearly in the center of the ship.
I was reading about that. Apparently, the ship was exclusively made out of magnesium. It's the only reason to explain why it catches fire and sparks like that.
Bursts into flame.
Also, again, as we see, the only way they can, it's when you slightly angle the shield away, it loses the comm antenna, which means the second they delivered the payload, that entire thing was going to be destroyed anyway. It's like the entire trip home was just, we're not speaking to anyone.
No.
It's Manuel running up and down the corridors going, "It's fire! It's fire, Mr. Faulty! It's fire!"
Yes, a little bit. So, like I said, 2 or 3. The sets are well built. That they are, they're beautiful sets. There's just not a lot of sense go into the sets.
No. I'd be kind to it and give it a 3 because I thought the whole thing was really nicely done. There's no internal logic to where those things sit.
Yeah, I think it is well realised. Like I said, the sets are very well built, and as a veneer of it makes sense. It's just you start peeling back the veneer and it doesn't stand up. So, like I said, I'm looking at about a 3.
Yep, yeah, I think that's fair.
Sounds good to me, Nick.
Yep.
Cool.
Right. The science. Now, what really gets me on this film is Dr. Brian Cox, alleged particle physicist.
Smarmy champion of the universe.
Smarmy champion of the universe and former keyboard player for D-Ream. Signs off on this film and everything. They make a very big deal about having the physicist on board.
Yeah.
We have things like the aforementioned gravity, and now they did think about this. Originally, the idea was that the weight of the bomb would be creating gravity, so the down would always be pointing towards the bomb section.
Yeah.
But then they decided, fuck that, and just didn't go with it at all. The film starts off with encountering Mercury. And the reason they encounter Mercury is they need to get a gravity assist, so they spin around it really, really quickly to accelerate to get to the final bit to the sun. But then they stop, so they could go and visit the Icarus 1. So you just spent all this energy getting a gravity assist, then are somehow able to stop and then get going again. It just there's a lot of the science really doesn't make sense. Again, when and you got Pinbacker surviving for God knows how long there on the ship. The thing is, I don't feel like we can say it's a way over fairies because it's obviously not. But at the same point, it's nowhere near Discovery 1 levels of science. So I'm kind of leaning, again, slap bang in the middle at a 3. Again, just because there's a very nice veneer of scientific accuracy there. It just doesn't stand up to any scrutiny whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I mean, because the one thing I would say is in the film, they do actually say that they're talking about an intercept course with Icarus 1. They're not stopping. They're just falling in line with it. They're not actually stopping.
Now I did consider that, and I thought about that as well. However, is it Cassie, the pilot?
Yeah.
Clearly says we're stopping when they pull up next to the Icarus. And if the Icarus was continuing at speed, it would have presumably flown into the sun. I mean, the Icarus had to stop. Yeah. Otherwise, its trajectory would have carried it on into the sun. And pinbacker or not, the payload would have been delivered. It was stopped. So they had to stop as well. So, and this is what I'm saying. There's a veneer of... I tell you what, again, just a quick aside. The whole thing which caused this was the... when they angle the ship, they lost the comm antennas, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we see, again, 5 minutes later, they can detach from the bomb. So why not detach, park your ship in a better position, and then go and fix the panels?
Well, yeah.
It's pure shut up, that's why. So, yeah, like I said, I'm thinking of 3. I can't in good conscience say it's a way over fairies because it's clearly not. I mean, It's got the big shield. They at least acknowledge it's going to be hot there.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Sorry. Yeah, go, Nick.
The thing that bothered me from the very beginning was, well, they're sending a big bomb to the sun. Why are they sending a spaceship and not just a big missile?
They
You
did
have to worry about the crew.
that. They did try to explain that in saying because it's all theoretical, they were worried they might need to make adjustments for where the bomb enters on site.
Right.
That's what the gap was there. Yeah, no, I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm just saying that was kind of their logic behind the reasoning there. So, yeah, that's the Icarus too. The other thing as well, once he gets there.
So what are we saying for science then? What are we all agreeing, guys?
Well, I'm asking for 3.
Yep, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Nick doesn't sound convinced. You can argue the points, mate. You don't have to just sit back.
Yeah, by all means, argue the points. It's just I can't in good conscience go any lower, given what ships in the past have gotten 1s and 2s.
No, a 3's fine.
And let's face it, on an episode all about scientifically accurate ships, that's pretty damning.
Yeah, that's true.
The other thing I just wanted to mention as well, there's no engines at the front of the ship, which means after it's delivered its payload, it has to turn around to get away.
No. The whole point was that when it goes from the ship, when it drops the bomb was to be blown off and basically fired away. And when it fires away, the ship basically flies backwards. It flies backwards along its trajectory. That's why it's got a smaller shield.
Yeah, I know that's why it's got a smaller shield. But there's no engine build. There's no thrusters. There's nothing to project thrust from the front of the ship.
No, but the whole point was it was basically supposed to. It was the weight of the bomb.
Oh, I see. So it's the inertia of a bomb blowing it away
and sending it essentially straight
back.
That
point alone qualifies it for the 3. Nothing else in that film does.
I don't think that works.
I don't think it works either, but if that's a logical explanation, I'll buy it. But yeah, it was one of those things that bugged me when I was watching it again. It's like, well, do you turn around? Because that's not going to work well for you, mate.
No, you don't turn around. You go backwards. You go back literally along your own path.
Yeah. But anyway, so, 3 for that. Coolness. Now, as much as I have just given it the boot and tried to throw it under the bus and all that sort of stuff, I do still kind of like the Icarus in so much as it's got the big fuck-off shield. I think it's purely on the strength of its external realization. I like the Icarus too. So I'm going to give it my 4 points purely for that. It bugs the crap out of me, but I still like it.
Right.
If it makes any sense at all.
Okay. Nick?
I'm going to give it a 1. The whole wok thing, sort of like, and the window in the front bugged me. The one that you could open and let all the sun in and roast your own crew.
It's not only that, where is it? You know what, actually, I'm taking it back. I'm going for a 3.
Okay, fair enough. Right, okay. Pete?
Yeah, well, if I was scoring the actual film, it would definitely get a very low score because it set my claustrophobia off something rotten. That stuff with Obi-Wan in his spacesuit. Ugh. But the actual ship itself, it is a flying wok, isn't it? So I'm going to give it 1.
1, okay. Well, I like this ship. I think it's really nice. I like the look of it. I like the fact that it feels like a NASA thing. I'm going to give it 2. Because I do done like that ship, and I like.
Like I said, I like it as well. I really do like the Icarus too.
My only problem is the fact that it's got comm antennas, which are clearly not going to survive if the ship so much as even wobbles on its axis.
Yeah.
So, but that I can forgive. So there you go. Right. So the scores, as far as I can tell, unless anyone's got anything else to say.
No. I did my best. Unfortunately, A, it's very big, and C, it has a a solar system destroying bomb on the front of it.
Yeah, which gives it a total of 53.
Yep.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yep. 53.
Into the top 10 with it.
Into the
Yikes.
top 10. My life. Okay, fair enough. That puts it right underneath the Agamemnon and puts the White Star into ninth place. Wow. Icarus 2. Who thought they'd actually get there? I mean, that's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
You know what this was? I mean, this is exactly the same thing that happened with Button Moon. It has one ability which managed to get it up there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Oh, well, there you go. So, Icarus 2 is in with a bullet at number 8 on our chart, but will it stay at number 8? Well, now it's time to find out from our guest, because he's going to bring the endurance. So, over to you, Nick.
Okay. The endurance from Interstellar. In a future with runaway climate change, NASA has got a secret project because they've discovered an inconveniently displaced wormhole. It's not close, it's far away. And they've sent a fleet of ships through to explore a variety of planets where they've left various explorers to rate the planet's suitability for colonising as alternate Earths. So their last ship to go through is the Endurance, which has been very, very accurately described as rumbelows in space. And their best pilot is actually a farmer now. So he's hurriedly drafted in to fly it, and they pass through the wormhole, and that gives them the opportunity to assess these planets, where they pick up a former crew member of one of the previous expeditions who manages to crash one of the shuttles into the ship while trying to steal it, and that does do it some damage before it all gets a bit strange and libraries in space.
But as we said before, you don't have to defend that bit.
Okay.
Yep.
But the Endurance itself, I actually rather like. This is how I got into this position. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beware hosts posting polls on the Facebook group, people.
Yeah. So I'm going to launch straight into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's allegedly 64 metres across.
Right.
So, which only scores it a 1.
Okie dokie. That's fair enough.
Scale, which puts it on par with most of the other ships so far, with the exception of the Icarus.
Yep.
Seriously, I have no idea why that thing is so huge. It makes no sense.
Speed-wise,
yeah.
It crosses the solar system. We've taken it to be months. They need to go into hibernation, but I suppose that's from one planet to another. So we're going to call it years. So I think that's a 1 again.
Yeah,
I do actually have exact numbers for its velocity.
Oh right, okay.
Go on.
Velocity Earth to Mars is 14 kilometers a second. Mars to Saturn 21 kilometers a second. So yeah, I mean, you're in the years. It's all this sort of Newtonian physics because it's accurate. You see. So
okay.
Yeah.
But can I ask a question? Bringing up a small argument from God knows how long. When it goes into a wormhole and leaps like halfway across the galaxy, isn't it going a lot faster than 1?
Okay.
That goes into the next section. So, yeah.
Well, you go on, Nick, and then I'll kick Lee once we get there.
So, yeah. Right. In the faster the light section, obviously it doesn't have its own abilities, but it's probably the only ship in the group that can. I've counted it as using a jump gate because it can travel through a wormhole.
Nice.
Which scores it a 3. So there's only one wormhole. So yeah. So it's a 1 off 3, but.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree on this point. And this is the crux of the argument. The reason is the ship itself is not fitted with a jump engine. Again, this comes back to what we were saying with the Deep Space Nine wormhole. And always, you can throw your slipper through the wormhole and it'll go through. The engine isn't on the Endurance itself. It's just making use of something there. Now, if the Endurance could generate its own wormhole at will, not a problem. Absolutely, that's fine. But it can't. It can merely make use of a natural phenomenon which already exists.
Okay.
Still good to just throw it in there like a cat amongst the pigeons. I was quite.
Oh, absolutely. Any time speed comes up, me and Lee are going to go at it. But yes, I I would think that the Endurance, unfortunately, is going to score a 0 on FTL.
Okay. Yeah.
Never mind.
Right. Manoeuvrability. We have a section for flying bricks. As it appears to be made of multiple bricks, do I get an extra point for that?
You know what? It's probably the most manoeuvrable thing we're doing today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, we'll give it a 2. Yeah.
Fridge in space.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right. Firepower. That's a big fat 0.
Yep.
Defense. That's a 0 again.
Right. Yep.
But that's on the active defense. It's a 0 for tinfoil, as it is a fairly low speed bump, so trashes 2 of the modules.
Yep. Or an inadvertent sort of Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'll tell you. Look, I think we've got to give it a little more benefit here.
Go
on the passive one for 2 reasons. Number one, yeah, it technically survives having a massive explosion as part of the ship. The ship is still somewhat viable, and it does survive the whole entering a wormhole thing, and all the forces involved there. So I think we've got to give it a little bit more there, just on the strength of that alone.
So a 1.
Well, we were giving it a 0, were we? Yeah, I think we've got to give it at least a 1, possibly a 2, just on the strength of it survives. Oh, look, it survives the forces of a black hole.
No, it doesn't. The black hole fucks it up something royal, if I'm not mistaken.
And let's not get stuck into the science of how that black hole really would have dealt with that ship. So
Yeah.
Well, yes, and the whole 7. Well, a 1 then, I'd say.
I think a 1 at most.
Yeah. I think 1, and we're being generous, because I tell you what, the Cygnus didn't do particularly well with a black hole, and we didn't give that anything.
That's true, yes.
So there you go. Go on, carry on, Nick.
Okie dokie. Special, I suppose, being designed to fly through a wormhole. I see, I'm pushing it now.
Yeah, I was going to say, no.
I applaud the pushing of the boundaries, though. I'm liking this. I'm good guess, but wrong. No.
Right. Crew. Well, we're down to...
That's 1.
Unless you count the robots, because that takes up to 6.
Yeah, that's true. It does.
Yep.
Cool.
We have counted them in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 2.
Yeah. The Tetris robots.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, they were weird, weren't they?
Case. Yes. Actually, the best crew members on the ship were those 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all their script got drowned out by Hans Zimmer, but there you go. Anyway, carry on. So we got 2 for the crew.
Who was doing the voices for those? It was somebody famous, wasn't it?
No idea.
I remember finding out.
I think it's a comedian.
Be Googling that.
Bill Irwin did Tars,
Mm.
and I had it a second ago. Where is it? And
Man looks up thing on the internet.
yes, we're still Chunky Labs bit here, aren't we?
Yeah.
There you go, Case, and that was by Joss Stewart, who I've never heard of. So,
Well, there you go. Well, that was something.
Not that famous.
Yeah, not that.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Scale of 1 to 10. 0.
0. Yeah. Right. Okay. So, what about competence?
Right. I like the crew here. I think they're actually very good. Yeah. Cooper, allegedly, is the best pilot NASA ever had, even though he crashed his last ship.
Just because it's the best one they have left doesn't, say a lot. If you have a whole 2 people available, and he's at least crashed a ship in the past, he's going to win by default.
Well, no, come on. Let's hear where Nick's going with this. Go on.
Let's hear you out.
The others, they're all very... We'll not count what's his name? Dr. Mann. So, yeah, Matt Damon. But he's not part of the crew. He's just some lunatic they picked up. He was lost again. He's good at getting lost. But the rest of them, they all know it's a one-way mission, but they don't care. They're prepared to do it. They're all very capable. They can, they lose crew members and it doesn't send them over the edge. So yeah.
Would you say, Nick, that they rage against the dying of the light?
Oh, fucking shut up.
Oh, dear.
Rage. Hi, hello, I'm Michael Caine. I've just read these...
I've buried too many people, Master Wayne.
I don't want to bury any more, Master Wayne. Yeah, go on.
So yeah, anyway, I want to give the crew a 5.
I've got a bit of an issue with that.
Oh no, that's
most of that involves the black hole planet, and how do you drown in a spacesuit? No one has yet answered this to me, damn it.
I mean,
also the fact that they're down there for 7 years. At no point in that entire time did the bloke upstairs decide to look down and think, "It's been a while. I can see him down there. Do you think I should go and help?"
They were down for 7 hours, weren't they? That was 23 years.
Yeah, exactly. And in no point in that time, yeah.
Yeah, but that's getting into story points. I mean, I the only thing I would say, and the reason why I might give them a 4, I wouldn't give them a 5, is because basically they're idiots. Insofar as they're NASA people, they want to go down to a planet. The planet's gravity means that they're going to be stuck down there for an hour, and it's like 7 years per hour or 7 years per day or whatever it is. And they don't think at any point, they don't actually have any consideration for the poor bloke upstairs. They don't send him a message. They don't do anything. They just sit there going, wait for the engines to repair. And no one bothers sitting there going, hold on, this is all water. What are we doing here? And no one flies, just skims the surface and just kind of gets close enough. So maybe that they've gone for like 6 months just by going down. They go right down to the actual surface. And that seems a bit stupid. And then there's that whole thing of dropping the pair of them off on 2 totally different planets.
Yeah. I mean, they don't even look down at the planet when they first get there. Because, again, you can see the sky from the ground. There's scattered clouds and all this. They don't even look down to see if the land is still there. They just go balls deep straight away.
So, Nick, you want a 5?
I actually wrote down was 4, but I said wrote 5 off my other list. So,
I think 4.
Certainly a 4. So yeah,
I think 4's good because at least 50% of them get back home.
I'll give it a 4 solely on the strength of Tars and Case.
Yeah,
I found out who voiced. Was it Tars?
Yeah.
Hang on. Here we are. It's Mr. Noodle from
Button Moon.
From Sesame Street, almost.
I've never heard of Mr. Noodle in Sesame Street, so it's
I'll send you an image if I can get the technology to work.
No, don't. No, it's fine.
No, you need
listeners.
You need to see Mr. Noodle. It's important.
Is it going to affect the score we give it?
Oh my God, him!
Yeah, exactly. You see.
Oh, because he's been
Elmo's friend.
Yeah, he's been in a few films that I've liked. One of them, Welcome to Collingwood, which is very good. Oh wow, okay. Now, I still wouldn't give it more than a 4. but at least...
I could be argued up to a 4, but I'd be happy with a 3, and that's just largely down to things like, love tells me we should go in this way. And I know we're getting into story, but the story kind of informs what they do and their decisions.
In fairness, they achieve their goals. They go to all
through dumb luck rather than crew competence.
They still manage to get there and get back where 3 other crews have already been and not returned.
Well, I'm giving it a 4 for Mr. Noodle anyway.
There you go. Mr. Noodle
I'm outnumbered here anyway, so it's 4. But I'll just say very briefly, the reason the other ones didn't come back is they were not meant to come back. They were meant to be one-way missions.
Right, you've obviously paid more attention to that film than I ever did. I was sitting right beside you when we watched it.
This is true, yes.
Going, what did he say? Hey?
What? What was that? What? How are you?
At one point in the screening, I did turn to Lee and go, that was fun. And he goes, what?
I did. Anyway, right, okay, so we got past crew competence, so we're on to the realisation, etc. So, Nick.
Right. Realisation. Right, exterior. I liked it. It was from the point of being rumbelows in space. I think somebody else described it as a futuristic cock ring. So, yeah, but they built big models. They didn't CGI it. They were deliberately trying to keep away from that.
Mm.
When they blew bits up, they actually blew them up, and they even had to invent a way to blow them out really quickly, so that looked realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be particularly stylish, but I do think it's quite real looking.
Yeah,
and it looks like something we could build.
Yes.
So I certainly think it deserves a 4 for the exterior.
Yeah,
you could have a 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have said 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks shiny.
Yeah, I'll go for a 5.
I got no problems with the exterior of it at all. It looks well. It's well realised. So yeah.
Okay.
We're overruling you, damn it! You're having a 5. I like it.
I'll let him have a 4. See if it comes in underneath a button moonship.
No, that can't be allowed to happen. So 5 it is.
Right. The interior, the sections, the flight modules, it's workable. It's to the point. I had a few problems with the living section with the sleep modules in, because it looked like a bathroom or a public toilet because it's all tiled. So, what are they going for here?
Wipe cleanability.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was a slightly strange choice.
Cottaging in outer space.
Possibly a tube station.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I only wanted to give that a 2.
Whoa.
I think you're doing yourself a disservice there, sir.
Definitely. I don't know. Hold on. No, I kind of agree. I have to say, because none of it makes any sense. Are they all sitting in that little spaceship bit in the middle? In which case, why is the gravity not working? Why is the gravity working? And if they're in the outer ring rumbelows boxes all around the outside edge, why do we never see that? Why do we never get an impression of that?
Well, we see them when they first dock with the Endurance. They spin up the ship to give it the gravity at that point. And then we do actually see, because Tars goes off to find Case, who was left on board the ship in one of the exterior pods. And when they come back, that's all done up at one of the pods. So you do see it. Again, they're not very descript. I mean, I couldn't describe them for love nor money other than a sleeping pod. But I think it's definitely better than a 2. I mean, if you're down in a 2, you're talking kind of cardboardy sets, aren't you?
Yeah, tatty and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, with that in mind, would you like to revise your score then, Nick?
I'll give it a 3.
There you go. 3. The man's asked for a 3.
I'll give it a 3 on the strength of the landers, which I think are well... Again, what you see is well realised inside the ships. There's a lot of money spent on that set, so that's kind of cool.
But whether or not it all fits is another matter.
I haven't considered the landers, but I'll come to those.
Okay.
Okay, so we're into the science.
The science. I think the science, staying away from the science of the film and sticking strictly with the science of the spaceship.
Wise move.
I do like that. It looks like something we could build. We fly stuff up in modules now and assemble it up there. It looks like it's been assembled in bits. The equations for the rotation apparently work. It has to spin at exactly 5.6 rotations a minute to achieve something resembling a 1g gravity.
Yep. So what are you going for, a 5?
I want to give the ship a 5.
Yep, no argument there, I don't think.
Good.
Yeah. But like you said, the science of a ship is sound.
Yeah.
Science of the rest of the film less so, but that's besides the point.
A little bit, yes.
Okay. So now we're on to coolness.
Right.
Okay, over to you, Nick. You have 4 points, and how do you wish to spend them?
I'm going to give it a 2 because it doesn't look cool. It looks real, but it doesn't look cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Andy?
I'm with Nick. It's there's bits of it which is kind of cool, bits of it which are less so. I'll give it 2, just because I feel if I gave it a 1, I'd be doing it a disservice. I don't think it's that bad, so I'll give it a 2.
Okay. Pete?
Yeah.
I think you might be on the same page I am. Can we give it a 0?
I'd like to give it a 2, just to give it a chance to get above the button moonship. I don't think it's going to make any difference, so I can be brutally honest and say I think it looks crap and give it a 1.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think this ship, for all of its super science and everything else, it just looks like it looks like someone's just started making some bricks and stuck them together and then gone, oh, that looks good. And then what can go in the middle? Hold on, I've got one of those Action Man shoes, the slipper ones for the Action Man astronauts. I'll paint some windows on that. Brilliant. Everything looks bloody awful, and that stupid.
It does look like it was built by Hotpoint, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that fucking hexagonal lander thing looks like it come out of a completely different movie.
Yeah, that was one of my issues. Plus the fact that when they go up to it in the first place, they have to catch like an old school rocket. So yeah, and yet they've got these two different types of lander that can go up and down, zip up and down.
Yeah.
Why are they using that and not one of them?
Yeah.
And like I say, they do look like they were nicked from some version of a Star Trek movie or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Very Battlestar Galactica, I thought, actually.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what it reminded me of. That hexagonal thing, that horrible blocky thing that looked like it came out of Halo or something. It actually reminded me of a Rubik's snake. When you can make a sort of like a strange U-shape Rubik's snake, and it just looked like nothing else compared to it. And it just was like, oh, you clearly ran out of time, and that's a previs model. And then it's like, okay, well, it looks like a boxy lander in the future. We'll use that. So I'd love to give it a big fat 0, but by the rules of the road, I'll give it a 1 under protest.
Doesn't matter because it comes out right at the bottom anyway.
Oh my god, it does. So there you go. So the Endurance from Interstellar has the dubious honour of being a ship that's actually worse than the Button Moon ship, sitting at the score of 30 points.
We should point out this is no reflection on Nick and his skills defending the ship. It is more down to
McManus.
Damn you, McManus!
I love it. I love it. I can't be happier. I really couldn't.
I've never had a nemesis before in my life, but
now you have.
Now I have. And his name is Elton.
Does he task you?
He tasks
you, Peter.
And I shall have him.
Brilliant. Oh boy. Right. Okay, well I suppose it's over to me then, is it?
Yep. It is. It's over to you, Mr. Metcalf.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Hermes, the explorer ship Hermes, created by NASA in 2035. It was sent out to Mars. It was the 3rd mission out to Mars. And it was created by NASA. It's got a crew of 6. It takes about sort of between 2 years and 18 months to 2 years to get to Mars. It was actually initially was designed behind the scenes. It was designed based on an actual NASA prototype, which was being mooted for a while, called the Nautilus X, which was commissioned by NASA themselves before the film ever came out, or the book, in 2010. The whole point of the ship was to basically be built at a Lagrange point between Moon and Mars, and basically then just take off and head to Mars. As far as it goes, the Hermes is basically taking those blueprints and just styling them out with a bit of the CG whizzy bang. The whole ship centres around an ISS centrifuge demonstration unit, which was also tested out, but never used on the ISS, and so therefore was used on the Nautilus X, and then someone took hold of that design and said, "Oh, there you go, we can stick that on the Hermes." The Hermes itself was never described particularly well in the book The Martian by Andy Weir. However, Andy was very, very clear about the fact that it would have to be scientifically accurate, something that the film itself took a few liberties with. The ship itself, we can go into scoring it, I guess, if you want to do that. Yeah, because behind the scenes, I mean, it's a digital model by Framestore, but you know.
But it is a beautiful digital model.
It's a beautiful digital model from Framestore, but it was actually designed by a number of NASA engineers who also worked on the Nautilus X, which is where it all goes back around in a circle. So it has some fundamental building blocks in there with scientists behind it, not just Brian Cox or Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, real scientists.
Real scientists.
I'll tell you what, actually, engineers.
Yeah.
Not scientists, engineers.
It got to the point where actually to work out the plot of the story, Andy Weir actually built a simulation of the solar system and did a small calculation of the actual ship travelling between the Lagrange points to actually get to and from Earth and Mars to work out his own timelines. And he used an experimental technology for the thrust, which has now become a thing which is actually going on to, I think, is it New Dawn? New Dawn's ship is the ship that's going to be launched by NASA that's going to test out the new ion engines. So,
I believe so. I think New Horizons had a version of an ion engine, but yeah, New Dawn's the next one. New Dawn's
the next one. So it's got some pretty heavy-hitting science behind it. In fact, you can actually look up the orbital trajectory of the Hermes as calculated by Andy Weir himself on YouTube.
Because it just, as an aside, in the book, he had to pick a very specific year to base the mission because he needed it a year where he knew when Thanksgiving would fall, when the planets were all aligned properly to make it work.
Yeah,
and he did for a while have a competition that if you could guess the year, he'd send you a signed thing. But they actually put the year on the patch for the film, so he's stopped doing that now.
Yeah. So Sol Zero, when the accident happens in November 7th, 2035, and then by the end of the story, it's December 21st, 2037. Including, and so again, if you want to look up all the trajectories, you can look up the Trajectories of the Martian by Laura Burke, with a graphic by Michael Greshko. Both who worked on the film and who did some theoretical stuff for the Martian anyway. And they did it for Inside Science, and so they actually worked out all the orbits and everything. You can find it all there. So let's get on to marking this thing up. Well, let's get on with this. Let's get on with the size. The size of the ship. Now, I initially based it on a few rough back of the notepad calculations. To being 200 meters long. However, after looking up a show reel for Territory, a graphics company that does nothing but graphics interfaces, I actually got a still frame of the graphic that sits on the control console of the Hermes and found out that it is actually 108 meters long.
Tech foo!
Tech foo! So there you go. So yeah, it's 108 meters long, which I think gives it a 1, basically.
Just across the line, but yes.
All that for a 1. Well, it nearly had a 2, so, you know. As far as its speed is, with an ion engine, it has a thrust of 2 millimeters per second, which means it can get to Earth from Mars in 2 years if the orbits are aligned.
Get your estimates.
Yeah, so again, that's a 1, I'm afraid, as far as speed's concerned. Maneuverability, Well, it is a proper NASA ship. So it goes round the orbits, it goes round the planets. It basically doesn't maneuver itself. It literally just fires in a straight line until something big gets in its way and slingshots it around. So it's got a 1 for maneuverability.
Yeah, you actually need to use a bomb to brake.
Yes, exactly.
You sidestepped fast and light, but that's not going to score very highly, is it?
Let's be honest, we are not talking about faster than light. The only way it'd get faster than light is if it was flying for about 5 million years. I mean, there's nothing worth considering there. Weapons, nil point. The shields, weapons, defense, nil point on all of those as well. But even though it does have radiation shielding and internal water tanks to shield from interstellar radiation, but I don't suppose that counts for much, to be honest.
That's new.
No, I didn't think so. Right, where are we? So we're on to special.
Crew.
No, well, nothing there. Crew. Yeah, it has a crew of 6 who are all expert NASA trained level. So I'm going to ask for a 2 for the size of the crew because it's 6, and the competence are 5.
I think that's fair enough.
If I could give you 6 for the competence, I would do.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think it would have got a 6, but
Yes.
there's nothing. There's
Pirate ninjas. That's what I've got to say about that.
Pirates versus Ninjas and a crew of 5 who actually Shanghai their own ship off of NASA and managed to work out how to get it back to Mars in less than 2 years. I mean, that's without damaging it as well. Yeah.
And Matt Damon being competent. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, exactly. Iron Man. Yes. So we're on to realization. Now, the realization is a CG model, obviously. So we've got to take that into account. But as far as it goes, it's CG done by the people who did Gravity. So as far as I'm concerned, it's top of the line, grade A, 100% solid CG.
Solid as a rock.
I'm going 5.
Good.
You can have your 5. It's
Right.
a gorgeous model.
It's gorgeous. Interior, I'm going for the same, because there is a number of shots on board that ship where you get a very real sense of exactly where everything is. The interiors were based on a lot of the ISS pods. So again, the designs are solidly built within, NASA information and NASA scales. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with the interiors at all. I think they're a 5.
I'm going to say yes to the 5, but I do have one small caveat.
Go on.
There is that living space area gym,
Yeah.
which is a fucking enormous and has like massive gym setups with all this sort of space. It's the one thing which kind of takes you out of it a little bit. You know where the spinning section is?
Yeah, I know. The one with
it's
Kate,
just
Kate Amara running
just,
on it.
Exactly. It's just, I think that's a little bit of an allowance for the sake of filming, so you've got some space to put crew and everything into it. Like I said, I'm still happy to give it a 5. It's still very well realised, but I just wanted to point out that is just a little bit of a liberty, I think, with...
That's picking the nits.
Yeah.
I was picking the nits, and I did say I was giving it a 5 anyway. I just wanted to acknowledge that nits had been picked.
Your nits have been acknowledged.
Yes. They trouble us not.
They trouble us not.
Yes.
Science. Now, again, as I said earlier, right at the beginning of this whole thing, the science of this is is a 4. Now, I say 4. I would have gone for 5, but 4 purely because the ring that acts as the habitat section, which acts as the gravity section, literally is too small and turns too slowly.
You know what? I'm going to say I'm willing to give you the 5 if you want it, and that's for 2 reasons. One is that I think is really picking nits here, because at the end of the day, they've acknowledged zero gravity and acknowledged the rotating section causes it. I mean, okay, they haven't got the equations or anything right, but that's fine. But the second reason is it's the only spaceship I can find with a video with Neil deGrasse Tyson himself fucking endorsing this motherfucker.
Bloody hell, that should get a 6.
Yeah, 6
So
for science.
I'm going to say I have a video here in front of me of Neil deGrasse Tyson endorsing the Ares mission. So that for me, I'd even give it a 6, but it's 5 at least.
We can't give it 6. That breaks the system. Sorry.
Are you so unfair?
Oh, no.
So we're on. So we got a 5 for the science. I'll take the 5. Right. Okay. Well, it's not looking good. So for coolness, now I personally think this is super cool. I think it's as cool as ice because it is as real as a spaceship will ever get. I mean, they even got to the point where they worked out precisely how much it would cost to build this thing. I mean, NASA looked at it. It's based on NASA designs. It's perfect. It's a cool ship. It's a 4. I'd give it a 5 if I could, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm giving it a 4. What about you, Pete?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can even see where the bridge is.
You can, but it's really not a design I can get excited about. Again, it's as soon as you go with scientific accuracy, I start slightly losing interest. So I guess I'm giving it a 1, I'm afraid.
Oh, you sod.
You Philistine, sir.
Okay. Nick.
I love the design.
You can come back again.
So yeah, I would certainly say it rivals the Discovery in my book. Out of these 4,
nice,
and I will give it maximum points for that.
Oh, 2.
Is that 2? Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And what about you, Mr. Palastides?
Well, because I want to say fuck you to Pete, I'm giving it 3. Yeah, I'm taking your money to spend and I'm spending it.
You can't do that.
You can't.
Breaks the system.
You can't do that. You'll break the system. You know what he's like. He'll be rocking backwards and forwards forever.
Yes. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Just for that, I'm going to invite Elton on to defend Button Moonship.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
But yes, all of my 2. I love it. It is, in my opinion, the most scientifically accurate ship since the Discovery 1. And probably one of the best realised. I love it.
Well, I gave it a go. I gave it a shot.
Yeah, and you got better than bloody Button Moon, so well done.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I got 29 by my count.
Got 34.
34? How did I manage 34? So, once again, my spectacular maths has been spectacularly shit again.
Needless to say, if the fate of Mark Watney rested on your hands...
Yeah. Well,
you'd have starved within days.
Hermes would have shot past Mars and crashed into a black hole somewhere.
Well, for what it's worth, I would have come out with a better plan than the Council of Elrond, to be honest. But okay, well there you go. So what's it got again?
34.
34.
It's up there with the Draconian.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Which it's an insult to the school Martian, isn't it? Really, but never mind.
You're damn right it is. 34. Oh dear, that's terrible.
That's not bad.
It's not good though, is it?
34. Unfortunately, we're stuck with the scoring system we have got here. But, still, of all the ships we've reviewed, it's definitely one of the ones which is more likely to get you where you want to go.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you'll be sitting there going along with some sad bastard driving the Draconia right beside you, going right behind you. Oh God, that's horrible. Oh well. Well, there you go. That's the thing then. That's the thing that we've done.
So what we can safely say from this is, when it comes to top trumps and spaceships, scientific accuracy isn't the be-all and end-all.
No, I think we've discovered that. With only
and also having a great big sun-destroying bomb at the end of your spaceship helps.
Yeah,
it does somewhat.
Yeah, being 7 kilometers long and having a mass the size of New York on the front end, which is a big bomb, does kind of weigh things in your favour a little bit.
Damn you, Cox!
Sorry.
You might want to rephrase that.
Oh, I stand by my statement.
Okay, well, there you go. So that's this week's Space Doc Jury. So there you go. So that's that. Now, just before we say thank you to everyone, and thank you to Nick for putting his head in the lion's mouth with the endurance, let's move on to next time. What ships are we bringing next time, everyone?
Living ships.
Yes, we're doing living ships.
Organic-y stuff, yes.
Okay. One of the first of the living ships rounds, I'm sure, because I'm sure there's enough to go round for another round. But
oh, yeah.
So, what are you bringing, Pete?
Right. Well, since I scored the lowest out of the this time, I guess it'll be me first again. Mm-hmm. I think this is just some sort of conspiracy to make sure I'm not too pissed when I'm doing my ship. But
results.
Well, indeed. Yes. I shall be flying Nemesis, the Warlock ship from 2000 AD, the Blitzspear.
Oh, lovely. Okie dokie. And Andy?
I believe I'm going to do the Shadow Battle Crab from Babylon 5.
Lots of screaming noises.
Yes, there will be lots and lots of screaming.
Okie dokie. And I will be bringing something else which also screams and may also cause a lot of screaming, which is I'm bringing Harbinger, the Reaper from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. Bish,
well,
bash,
as you all know,
bosh.
the last time we had a Mass Effect ship, that went swimmingly. So
yeah, I'm sure it'll go well this time as well. But there you go.
Tune in next week to find out who's going to be killed and who will be auditioning for a new host.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure it'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? Yes, it's Nemesis, Blitzspear, the Shadow Battle Crab, and a bloody great Reaper, namely Harbinger. And so it just leaves me to say thank you to everyone for listening, and thank you, Nick, for taking part.
That's okay. Thank you very much. It was fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It wasn't too traumatic, I trust. I
shall go and cry somewhere. My ship goes now at the bottom.
Well, treat it as a badge of honour. You're the first person in, and you're the bottom person on. We will never forget you.
You're like the Richard Whiteley of this cast.
That's not good. That's not. Yeah, that's not a good way to greet your guests, to be honest.
Yes, but he'll be forever remembered. Every time we bring up a ship to the call, we say, "Well, look, you're not endurance level, but."
Oh my God. You're not.
I'm not helping here, am I?
No, you're not. You're not. Just stop that. So, yes. So join us again next time. You can join us on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/SpaceDocJury, or you can follow us for the intermittent tweets that we occasionally put out on Twitter, which is @SpaceDocJury. And until next time, when we will be putting organic ships to the test, take care and speak to you all soon. Ta-da!
Cheerio, bye!
Say bye, Nick.
Oh, sorry. Goodbye.
You're fired.
Space Doc Jury is a production by 3 Angry Beards for GeekPlanetOnline.com.